Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Are Hindus Cowards? Hindu Academy, J. Lakhani. I thought of this like, yes, obviously. There are going to be some cowards everywhere. It's just natural human beings. Hindus are not special in any way. They're humans like everyone else. Like for me, you can call me a coward for not doing a bungee jump cord because I don't I'm not going to risk my life on that. It's not worth it. We're all cowards at something. But to me, I find this kind of weird. Like, why ask this question? So I googled the name of the video to get the thumbnail. That one. And it's really weird. The first thing comes out is like, yes, Hindus are cowards. I'm like, whoa, 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 wait, what? Or is it like, are all Hindus cowards? And I think it says yes or something like that. I was like, holy, whoa. Not all. There are going to be some. And it depends on what you mean by coward, too. I'm wondering if this is more along the lines of, like, conflict in terms of physical fighting. Whether that means, fisticuffs or shooting or whatever. I think of cowards as just everything in general. Like me, yeah, I'm not going to go bungee jumping cord. No, I'm not going to jump out of the plane. I'm not going to go swimming because I don't know how to, so I'm definitely a coward in that one. But in terms of fighting, yeah, every Hindu is a human being, so there's going to be at least one that will be afraid of fighting, and that's understandable. It's understandable to a degree. Like, there's obviously people out there who are just genuinely afraid of a lot of things, and that's not something they necessarily choose, but it's like a psychological issue. But anyways, when I looked it up, it was really weird. I kind of read a little bit of it, and it's like, is it because they how do I say, they permit a lot of things to happen to them? That's the reason why. Are they that, or are they cowards? I'm like, well, allowing things to happen and being a coward are two different things. So this is just really weird. Now it makes me interested. Like, this is a suggestion, and I'm like, what kind of question is this? I was more interested in who asked the question and why they're asking it. And with the Google lookup, I'm now curious about everything about this, because why? Anyways, let's go ahead and get started.
I have one question. Is our history is 5,000 years before we had Rama and Mahabharata. Rama killed Ravana, Krishna killed Kans, Arjun killed his own relatives because they were no good. 200 years ago, India was the largest economy in the world. Lot many people invaded the country. Why Hindu was not defending them at that time, and why Gandhi was appreciated because of his non-violence and truth? He was also Hindu. Prithviraj Chauhan, he excused Muhammad Ghazni for 16 times, and Ghazni killed Prithviraj Chauhan 17 times when Ghazni conquered Prithviraj Chauhan. And why Hindus are considered to be coward these days?
Okay, I think I understood most of the questions. A lot of what he's saying I didn't quite. I understood the fact that India was, I guess, conquered. I honestly don't know whether India just allowed it to happen and there's literally no conflict, or was there conflict? I don't know. And it almost made it seem like India just kind of permitted, in a sense, Britain to just take over. I don't know the history of that. But anyways, he talks about a lot of, I guess, the past of India, which seems like India was very much fighting internally. I mean, that makes sense. You fight your neighbors anyway. You fight the closest one to you. It happens throughout human history. But then I guess it's like, what happened, I guess, during that fighting spirit? It was before, I believe, the Mahabharata, I believe that's what he said. I guess the Upanishads and all of these, I believe, I'm not sure. And then I guess the Enlightenment period happened where all of a sudden, I guess, the fighting kind of stopped. And maybe that's the reason why India doesn't fight anymore, necessarily. Again, I don't know. I'm just stipulating here. I'm trying to understand what he's saying and perhaps maybe piece together a little bit of the history. But But anyways, let's hear what Lakhani here has to say.
Yes, the question was this. It's a very important question. It stirs us up. We claim to be such an ancient civilization, far advanced than other part of the world for thousands of years. That's what he said. It's such an advanced civilization. How come few hundred years back we were invaded not once but invaded twice? How come we couldn't stand up? Why were we so cowardly? This is the question. What went wrong?
So I don't know. I don't know if it's cowardly or not. I don't know if maybe they fought and they lost. I don't know how united India was. I don't know how big of a force that came to invade India. I don't know, like, if the reason why Rome was able to conquer as much as they did was because they have a large fighting force and they were essentially fighting small tribes. And as they fought more small tribes, they incorporated that tribe into their empire, and they recruited from those tribes to increase their numbers. So when you cannot unite against a massive force, you're going to lose because they're going to individually pick you out. So I'm assuming that's what maybe happened. Weird to say cowards. I don't know. I honestly don't want to believe that. Obviously there's going to be cowards everywhere. But just to say like an entire population, that is cowards is not the right word. I wouldn't use that. It's just more along the lines that they're not willing to fight. It's different from a coward, though.
You see, the answer is this. It's a very important question. I won't mention the names he has mentioned because it will become a political talk then. The answer is this. Whenever things go wrong like this, and you are in the medical field, so you know, if the body of a patient, of an individual, is weak, his immunity is down, every little bacteria can come and invade your body and demolish you. Now, I'm not saying the foreigners are bacteria, that will be too much. But when your system, your body itself is weak for whatever reasons, your immunity is down, then even a minor force can come and demolish you. That's what happens in medical field. That's why your immunity must be protected, otherwise you can be demolished by the one bacteria will grow in your lungs and demolish you. So this is what I have to think about. You see, it's always easy to blame outsiders for something that went wrong. We must look within ourselves and say, what went wrong here that a handful of people could walk in and almost demolish a whole nation, destroy all the temples and everything, the religion demolished. 1,000 years we were slaves. What went wrong? This is what you must think. And the answer is this. The very thing that built us up. You see, every time you discover a tool, it can be used, it can be misused. So we have discovered this marvelous tool. This is a discovery, not an invention of spirituality. The underpinning to us is spirit. The underpinning to the whole creation is spirit. We discovered that Atman and Brahman and this marvelous idea of relating through various gods and goddesses. These broad ideas of Hinduism. We recognize, we use them. The society was charged up. Very cohesive, very powerful. I'm talking of the golden period of India just in the Buddhistic time. At the time of Buddha. It was the golden period. No way anybody could come and conquer that. But the same thing that was helping us become so vibrant, when it is misused, the same tools that you can have to do for the benefit of society, when they become degenerate, they can do tremendous harm. I'll give you 2 examples, you'll see why.
Okay, before the examples, so he's talking about how whenever you're in a surgery table, they always have to keep. I watched some scrubs and some medical people reacting to the scrubs. Anyways, they say that they keep their hands up here, they can't keep it down here, they can't really keep it up there, they have to keep it somewhere like in the middle between the chin and the waist, I believe, because it's the area they can do like this, they can't do like this, they can't keep it up or down, they always have to wear a mask because they have to keep the area sterile. And it's the example I would give is the fact that imagine if your entire body it's working individually, so the stomach has its own antiviral, the arms, the legs, etc. Instead of working as one united, they only help themselves in a sense. So that perhaps maybe a big bacteria comes in there, and if the entire body united, it could conquer it, but the arm or the stomach or the head or the arms, legs, whatever, individually cannot. I'm wondering if that's what it's meaning there. I would assume so, because to stop a large force, you need to have equally as a large force and more skill or larger force, or both.
These are important things for the Hindus to learn about. You see, we learn this thing called the law of karma. Now the law of karma simply says, as individuals we set things into motion, and we have to bear the consequences of things that we have set into motion. That's the basic idea. It sounds very clever, very rational, saying that we are in charge of our destiny and we will in a way fashion our own future. This is what it tells you. It empowers you to dictate your own future, saying I am in charge of my destiny. What a lovely idea. Law of cause and effect on personal term. This is central in all the Indic religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism. What a powerful thought. It empowers us to fashion our own future. What a good thought. I just show you how a good idea can turn nasty. In no time, now this we have not still turned it around, it's still visible in modern India today. So we have not still learnt our lesson. If you go to India today, look, there is no foreigners ruling us for 60 years. Go to India today, and of course, you are invited by some rich family friends in Mumbai, and you go there and there's a wedding and you participate in kurtas and all this dancing and feasting and going on, things are going well. And then you step out of the door of your relation and there's a little girl, 3-year-old girl, standing in tatters, hungry, destitute, looking at the festivities, starving. And you tell your host, come, what about her? Do you know what it's going to tell you? Law of karma. Our karma, we did in our previous life such good things, we go inside and have party. And this girl must have done some horrible thing, let us stand there and starve.
This is the thing I kind of hate about. That's the reason why I don't believe, I guess, I don't know if I've said this before, I don't think I have. And this is something that I could see myself thinking of if I haven't thought of it already. It's exactly this. It's the fact that if you believe in reincarnation and your karma follows you, then if you see someone homeless or helpless, some people can see that as, well, they're getting what they deserve. But I get some arguments you can argue against that. It's the fact that by you not helping, you could end up developing bad karma as well. Or you can still be generous and kind and give and provide, and develop good karma that way. So that's an argument for still helping, even if they're poor. Again, everyone will think of many ways. They'll think of the way that you can still help them out. The other one could think well, they are suffering their karma. They must go through it, because if I help them out, then they're not going to go through their bad karma, and they're going to reincarnate again to receive more bad karma. They might as well get rid of as much of bad karma now in this life. That way, in their next life, they can have good karma. Another one can rationalize that as well. So again, I don't believe in reincarnation, again, because I've not experienced it and I have no recollection. There are things in the world that could potentially maybe indicate something like that, but it's a belief at the moment. If I were to say maybe I believe in it, but I don't want to believe in something, and now I can have it high probability and whatnot, but that's a different story. But anyways, that's why I believe in karma, but it's the karma that you develop in your current life. So if you do good, generally speaking, you'll get good. If you do bad, generally speaking, you'll get bad. It's not guaranteed, but it will hit you.
Let her pay her price. We have our rewards inside. We will just look away. Look. The very idea that it was going to empower you has turned so nasty and so negative, we have still not learned our lesson. The law of karma says the following. It says not only what you set into motion is going to come and catch up with you, but what you fail to do. If you see a problem in front of your eyes and you fail to address the problem, you turn your back, it's going to come and bite you even more. This is the law of karma, the mature idea of law of karma. Not only what you do, but what you fail to do is going to come and whack you. And we have forgotten the second part of the equation. So even in modern India today, they say, oh, we are a major economic power. We are kind of running away, with one of the world major powers. What world power? If 30 or 40% of your population cannot get clean drink of water, and you don't give a damn, I say you are not a civilized nation at all. You are not spiritual at all. You have not learnt your lesson. You need to, if you see a problem in front of you, address it. Do you know where this thing is addressed in full rigor? Where you find practicing Hindus, I'm telling you. Not in India. Here a refugee walks in, doesn't have anything, no money, nothing. In 2 ticks, these people here, We lift him up, give a safety net, education, food, health, wealth, and everything will be given to that person, like that.
And real quick with that statement he said, I believe in social things, but from the people, not the government. I understand that some things may need to be run by the government, but I want people to have more control over it than the government, because the government, it works, but it's generally terrible most of the time. So that's why I do believe in social stuff, but from the people themselves. They run it, they see who needs it, they know where the things need to go, because they're in the front line doing this, where the government, generally speaking, is in the government, and they send representatives out there, and sometimes, because the government does so many different things, that whatever issues they have with that social thing that they're trying to do, make it put in the back burner, because it's not present, or not an issue at the moment. It's still working, maybe, and it's not important to a degree. So, anyways.
He said, why do you do this? Different racial, he's from Somalia. Why do you bother? He said, no, Mr. Lakhani. No human being can starve here, even though they will misuse the system. We can't let him fall down. We can't allow his dignity to be compromised, human dignity to be compromised. I do know what I tell these people. I say, you are practicing Hindus. The Hindus in India are theoretical Hindus, poor practitioners. The reason why I'm making this comment is this. You see, unless we improve ourselves and recognize that we possess powerful tools, we don't know how to use them. We are very poor practitioner. We cannot come out of this, if you like, this malaise, this problem. There's a second area, you'll see this also. There was an idea in ancient Vedic scripture, the Shruti scripture, which said, in society, the way we become religious is to use our own skills to the full for the betterment of the greater society. What a very lovely idea. Division of labor based on your ability. This is the idea in the Rig Veda. Clean cut, every modern society does it. They will say, oh, do you like medicine? Do you like art? Do you like music? Okay, you go there, we'll specialize you in that. You start streaming youngsters based on their ability to become best professionals in that field and contribute toward the greater society. You're good for brain surgeon, become a brain surgeon. You're good for becoming a bricklayer, become a good bricklayer. There's a marvelous division of labor based on your ability. This is the idea of Hindus, the pure ideas of ancient Hindus. What did it turn into in no time? This monstrous, horrendous, hereditary, hierarchical caste system. By mere birth, you are just down there. I'll thump you. Look, if you go to India today, the way they treat their servants will make you feel ashamed. They'll make you feel ashamed. You'll shudder. If you've been born and brought up in this, you'll shudder. The same food we are eating, the leftovers, the servant girl, not sitting on the table, will sit in the corner on the floor somewhere and eat it. And you're watching it and say, what have I done? What have I done? I'm saying there is God here shining in the eyes of this girl. What am I doing to her? Where's the dignity? So I'm saying the problem is not from outside. The problem is within. When your structure or something is wrong in your body, things will come and attack you.
So I have a question here. So the caste system. I've heard it said a few times. I think the Westerners' way of understanding it is a hierarchy. Like slaves, low income, mid income, high income, rich, royalty, etc. So far from two people, Swami Taratmananda and Lakhani, as far as I can remember, says that it wasn't the West that brought it in, that hierarchical system, but it was something kind of brewing internally, where you have corrupt people, especially those on clergy, like I guess priests type status, who are using that to their advantage, which does make sense. Again, we're all humans, and people crave power. It doesn't matter what you are. If you're human, there's going to be some power craving. There's going to be some people out there who crave power. So far, two of them says that it's not necessarily that the West came in and then created what's the current caste system we understand today, or maybe in the past. I'm not sure if it's still going on today or not. But I'm kind of curious as to what you guys' opinion on that is. Is it the caste system was being corrupt before the West came in there? Or do you think that the West came in and corrupted it, and that's the reason why you kind of have the caste system as it is today, where it's, the untouchables or the dirty people or whatever they call the lower class, and then you have the different casts of people that they can't marry down or marry up or something like that. All I know is like lower class or lower class people, and that you don't marry down below or something like that. You marry across or up or something. I'm not exactly sure. I know there's just different class, high and low. That's about it. And that they don't marry down. And the people who marry down, or the people in the lower class, will just marry each other, and the upper class will marry each other. So again, you be honest and don't have to reply to anyone else about it, because it's going to be their opinion about it and how they understand it. But my understanding initially, before even getting into this, was lower class, like slaves or whatever, low class citizens. Then you have your upper class and etc. like that. But I guess the original idea was the fact that the lower, it's not really the lower class, it's just the bottom class. The foot, I suppose, is the labor, because they carry and build society and everything. And maybe you have the farmer class, the fisher class, or the clergy class at the very top of the head. I think Sadhguru was talking about how the different levels. I don't know if Sadhguru supported that it was corrupt prior to, or there was already internal corruptions to a degree, but it perhaps wasn't widespread before the Westerners came in there. So let me know, what are your thoughts? Was it semi-corrupt before, and then just the Westerners just made it really worse, or was it there was no corruption and the Westerners corrupted it? Again, do not debate down below, just give your honest opinion about it, because I'm just kind of curious to what most people think today. And I can understand both points of views. Obviously, people corrupt no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're a Hindu, American, West, East, South, North. There's going to be corrupt people. That's just human beings. So I can understand that perspective. I can also understand the perspective that maybe it wasn't corrupt and the Westerners came in there and they misunderstood it. But I mean, even being misunderstood doesn't mean the society itself has to run, but maybe the Westerners influence the Indian people and then made them think that way. So anyways, I don't know. Let me know in the comments.
And this is the price, and we are still, I'm telling you, the only place where we'll learn our lesson is from United Kingdom. I am telling the Indians through this channel that learn to be good Hindus from the Englishman here. He has put into practice what you've been preaching, becoming good human beings, being really humane. That's what Ram is about. These people are doing it, you've forgotten it. You just want kurtas and dance about. And the poor, they can starve. You see, look, do you know, when I read stuff like that, I shudder and I feel I don't want to go to India. The poor women in India, suppose they're working in Mumbai, the only way they can answer the call of nature is to get up before the sun rises and go to the sea. There is no place for them, otherwise their dignity is compromised. These are my mothers. What are we doing to them? We don't give them any dignity. And we call ourselves spiritual, religious. What spiritual, what religious? We have a lot to learn about dignifying humanity. And whenever we learn, whenever see other nation that is practicing this in full flow, we have to bow down and say, we learn from you. The modern India is going to wake up, become awakened to this broader idea of Hinduism from United Kingdom. It is here this broad idea of Hinduism will come implanted. From here they will be resent to India and wake them up. When the Englishman says good stuff here, Hindus say, we knew it. We are still slaves mentally. Unless the Westerner gives a tick, he won't accept. This is a sad state of affairs.
I'll have to disagree a little bit on Lakhani at the end there. I think this video is 10 years old though, so I do understand where he's coming from with that. Whereas in the Western world, generally speaking, I believe, and even just more specifically America, we do give a lot of money away to, like, from the things I heard that we give a lot of money away to foreign countries to aid them. And then when there's tragedy, and like big tragedy that shows up in the news, we donate a lot of money, food, water, and all that to these countries, like the people who gets hit by hurricanes in Central America and South America. Even in probably when Ukraine was being attacked, I'm sure there's quite a bit of donations going on over there as well, and even today still. And it's not to say that everyone agrees with it, at least the war portion, but in terms of like maybe like areas that are damaged by Mother Nature, most people agree The only people that would disagree is the people who are saying like, you know, we have poor over here too. We have starving children. That we need to help them out before we help anyone else out. Which I can't disagree with that. I think we could do both. And maybe that's what Lakhani was talking about. Like, I wouldn't doubt that Westerners, generally speaking, are generous. Now, whether they are or the most generous or not, that's another story. But I think I can't. From my understanding, I believe the real thing that India would need to do is to go back to their roots in terms of Hinduism. Learn about true self, learn about their culture and Advaita Vedanta, I guess you could say. Because that's what mostly I'm familiar with, about how the fact that, and a deeper understanding perhaps of karma as well, for those people who think that, you know, I'm gonna let them suffer their karma, or maybe even humanity, I don't know. But people who think like that probably need to go back and read whatever books they follow, and if they believe in karma like that, then perhaps they need to read karma a bit more. Because I don't know, again, like I said, I do believe in karma to a degree, and I believe in helping out where you can, but of course not to the point where you put yourself in a bad situation. So anyways, I think the real answer for India is not to look at Westerners necessarily, because we do get some things right. It's not usually the good things, but it's like, you know, you want to look at being a successful business, absolutely look to the West. But in terms of internal stuff, oh yeah, don't look to the West for that one. It is garbage at the moment. Now, don't get me wrong, like, religion can hold a lot of people in the West together, but I think Eastern philosophy is so much better in terms of ways of life. So that's where I think, I'm not exactly sure if that's what Lakhani here is talking about, but in terms of getting your stuff together, I think going back to the roots, I believe in, I think it was in the Sadhguru video, someone asked about how they're losing their roots. But anyways, to go back and, because, oh yeah, I think it was because, you know, a lot of the major cities in India is becoming westernized. And I don't think, again, I disagree with the term westernized, because I think this is just something naturally that humans will do when the area becomes developed. I guess it's just because it's something that happened in the West first, or maybe really popular, I don't know. But I honestly believe it's just when a country or even a city becomes very developed, this is just what happens naturally. And you see it all over the West. And I wouldn't doubt you see it, well, in major cities in India. As far as what I'm reading in the comments, like, you kind of see this entitled attitude kind of deal, especially in colleges, actually. Anyways, so I don't think this is a Western thing. It's just a human developed thing, and this apparently is growing, where people are becoming perhaps selfish and look to the West as examples of success, when there is one portion of success, but internal success, definitely not the West. And that's what I think some people are saying in the Sadhguru talks, about how they're kind of losing their way. India is losing their way in terms of their ancient culture, their Eastern philosophies, and how people perhaps are becoming stressed, seeking monetary gain and becoming rich, and pursuing that as opposed to also pursuing internal success. Really weird to say that, but, you know, internal happiness. They derive their happiness of becoming successful, and not internal happiness, which the West does in spades. And if they don't become successful, they're extremely depressed. So yes. So at the last part, I will have to say I disagree a bit with Lakhani there. It's not looking to the West. If you want monetary success, you could look to the West. But if you want internal success, you definitely don't look to the West. You look to the East. You look to a lot of the Eastern philosophies, because Western philosophies is it's about money. So if you want both success, you look at both ways, East and West. But don't look to the West for internal and the East for external. You swap it a little bit. But don't get me wrong. Even in India, I hear there's a lot of startup companies being successful, but I'm sure it's much like in the United States where there'll be a lot of them perhaps, and like maybe 90% will fail, but maybe in smaller areas there's a greater chance of success. So I look at that in my birth country as well, where there's essentially it's made up of a whole bunch of just I'd say family-owned business, but it's not in the sense that you think of, like they have a store or anything. The family-owned business, as in they have a tray and they're selling it on the street, and they have the stuff laid out in a tray, and they have their kids with them sometimes, and they carry the trays and they try to sell stuff. So if you look at that as family-owned, because it's technically family-owned, then yeah, we have a lot of that in my birth country. It's not big, corporations or anything like that. It's a lot of just people with whatever they have and whatever they can make to sell on the street, because that's the only way they make a living. There's no. I mean, there are malls and stuff. I'm really going really weird here, but anyways. But yes, they're small businesses, and I'm sure it's quite successful at the moment in India, especially whenever it's in non-really developed areas, because there's a chance for them to start up. They're not competing with a lot of other bigger business, and it's also more convenient, much like in my own birth country as well, where there's a lot of small businesses. It's just easier to go to the closest one, because there's no, oh, let me check the price on this store or in this store. No, it's literally, you don't know what the prices are, because it's all just literally no internet, no big stores. So you just buy from the closest thing, essentially, if the price is about right. Because you'll have an idea what the price is, because you generally shop around it. Anyway, it's getting a little bit too much into my own birth country there. So anyways, that's my reaction to Are Hindus Cowards, which he didn't really answer the question. My answer to that is yes and no. Yes, obviously there's going to be cowards everywhere, but generally speaking, no, Hindus I don't believe are cowards. They're just, how do I say? I won't say very kind, but very accommodating. I think that's the right word, because I guess they permit a lot of things because they're very accepting of other people's ideas, and they kind of get taken advantage of. I think that maybe. Anyways, that's my reaction. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.